Hello, Glitch here, back for another Lycanite equipment combos video, and I have been experiencing some additional uh, audio issues recently because of an update, and I'm wondering what that may have did. So, Windows, why does this keep happening? Why do you do this to us? Just saying, so things might not entirely go through. Anyhow, I decided to create this as a Life Reaper, because I know the idea has been kind of popped around a couple times to do a few that are more modeled after size and sickles, those kind of weapons, and occasionally a bit, I guess you could say, some other curved blades like the Egyptian Khopesh, although this being an axe-like or more longish weapon, it is kind of more like a weighted scythe, but it kind of gave me a big idea for it. Anyhow, I'll go over this, and in terms of like how to make it, because as usual, I'll go over the parts, best places to go hunting for them, because again, the parts are mostly from creatures. I mean, it is like nice mobs. For the time being, in the far, far future, the name of the mod may change. He has been considering it, seeing how it's expanded to way more than mobs. I mean, I am holding a piece of custom equipment here that is going to be dealing a lot of damage. So, yeah. He's been pondering how much magic and other cool stuff he's shoved into it over time. But it could be a while before he does any major name changes, so don't worry about that until like quite some time down the line. Okay? Anyhow, that's the news portion of this video. So we'll be going over the various things. Remember, the blocks you'll be needing will be a lesser equipment forge, which is a crafting table plus a wooden axe. The greater equipment forge is that plus an iron block. And the master equipment forge, which is the only one you actually really need because it can do all parts and levels thereof with no downgrading, it's the one that takes a greater equipment forge and a block of diamond. Trust me, this is the one you're looking for. Now, as for how to level up the parts, since I always go up with level 3, remember to use the equipment infuser, which is a lesser equipment forge surrounded the crafting table with lapis lazuli. That's 8 pieces, not 1. I just put that in for visual reference. Now, also remember the interface of these are rather specific. I'll always show this one off, but do remember that this takes charges that you can get from defeating creatures and recycling parts, and you can use those to level up parts and give them experience so that they can obtain their higher levels. The max at this time is level 3, although that may be configurable. I don't know if that's right now or in the future, but that has been passed around as a thought. So I think you can configure their max level, but by default it is level 3, and that is usually good enough. Trust me, a lot of these can do some serious damage. Now, I have been modeling it off in various ways, as you can see. My usual favorite is around here, but it looks a little weird in this. In fact, it looks a little weird in my hand unless I'm actually looking at myself. So I have to do this, and then I see the full wing. So there's like a visual thing with this right now, having to do with Remobra wings specifically. Now, in other displays, it's going pretty well. Like, Nato the Potato is holding it pretty well, although it looks like he's about to chop himself up for well, it looks like he's going to become a large cut French fries from the way that's angled at him. Sorry, Nato the Potato, you're not really giving yourself a good fate. But other methods of displaying it seem to show off the full wing better. Like, of course, this does, although then it's kind of in the background. This one's here. This is doing surprisingly well today in terms of a display. Those are having issues, but although they're quite similar, it seems that the ritual pedestals from Abyssalcraft are actually performing remarkably perfectly right now. Like, seriously, that's one of the best displays for it, other than the fact it doesn't show the bottom piece. This one kind of does, but I'm just not getting a perfect display this round. Sometimes that happens. I mean, these are all extremely customized in how they look, so you could imagine there being a few technical issues sometimes. Anyhow, let's go on to the actual parts you'll be needing and where to be hunting for them. Now, the base part this time will be an int arm. These are found pretty much everywhere everywhere there are trees. Just remember that it's usually better with things that are either vanilla trees or are more properly registered, and usually with either vanilla tools or with these custom tools from Lycanite's mobs. Basically, you will be axing the tree for best results of finding an int, but they can sometimes show up in certain types of forest biomes, including regular forests, just walking around. So, you don't necessarily have to be chopping trees to find ints, but it is probably the easiest way to do so from just like a random biome. And again, unless you're walking in a forest. These add a pommel slot, which is particularly important for getting that little extra oomph on your item. And it also adds leech in and of itself, which is kind of going with this whole Reaper Scythe idea as being a life leeching power. So it's going with the theme just right there. Your pommel will be a Vespid Stinger. They are found mostly in jungles. Although, I do like to also remind people that if you have mob events turned on, which is no longer by default, you'd have to go into the configs to activate them. Then there's also an event called the Swarm that brings it brings Vespids to you, basically. There's other mob events too, and this could also help your hunting because there's some that also involve ints and other creatures that might be harder to find if you're nowhere near their proper biomes. So just saying that if you want to turn that on for a bit of a twist that makes it a little more convenient to find parts, but also throws creatures in your face periodically, that can be a decent trade-off. Now, this adds poison normally, but at level 3 it also adds penetration. So this is one time where you gotta go for level 3. Because otherwise, it'll just be toxic, but with the level 3, that adds extra damage after something's been inflicted with it, and that really ramps this up. Now, penetration and leech have both been nerfed since the old times, so some of the very early videos I've done with this type of situation may have a little more extreme results, but you can still get similar results, just not quite as insane now. Leech now can also give you health instead of by proportion, it's based on its level. But also means that you can also gain health on impact with a target after you've activated it, even if you're not actually dealing them damage. So that's a bit of an interesting side grade on that one. Penetration just doesn't overall amplify the damage as much on the target that has it as much as it used to, but it still amps up the damage overall. And this is from all sources, including from ongoing effects like poison and wither. So you can also amp up ongoing damage with that. I may not have specified that before, but it is a thing to keep in mind. Our head part will be a Ventoraptor skull because we're going for something that makes it like a scythe and therefore needs certain axe components, because the one that looks like it the most is a Remoper wing. So I had to go with an axe head here. And as with all axe head parts, it adds 2 axe head axe part slots. This one adds weakness effect, and overall, it's easier to find a Ventoraptor skull because they're found on plains, rather than going for a Uviraptor skull. But you could easily swap this out because if you're going to be hunting for Vespids, you might find Uviraptors because they're also found in the jungle. Uviraptor skull adds slowness, Ventoraptor skull adds weakness. That's the major difference between the two, but they're kind of interchangeable in this design, and both kind of thematic for it. So, you go with whichever one you choose. As for our 2 axe parts, the main completing part is going to be the Remoper wing. Remopers are usually more found in swamps, but again, mob events may help you find them. After all, Winged Venom is the event where they typically show up. It will poison the target, but it also has other properties, including its Venom Shot special ability and the power to summon Remopera. This is basically the part that pretty much substitutes for the Venom Axe Blade that used to exist in one part. So, if you want to do that, yeah, that's this part in a nutshell. So, it also has other properties. Again, it harvests as an axe, because it is an axe part that really works well as an axe, so you will be chopping some serious trees. The Clink Scythe adds some extra damage and knockback, and it's also good for its different harvest type. I mean, if you're going with something like a scythe, you want to act at least a little like a tool. So the fact that it harvests as hoe, shears, and shovel makes this very useful for, well, doing your farming. Remember, when trying to shear sheep, you might need to do that thing where you aim away very quickly while hitting the button, because both of these axe parts have projectiles, so you don't want to shoot your sheep. That would be very rude to your nice wool provider. Uh, so just think about that too. It also adds the aphasia effect, so it'll keep the enemy from using items. Now, without further ado, it is time to assemble. As I said, I always wind up showing off this block because it's how it assembles. Because you're putting in all your parts, always start with your base part, and then you can start adding a head part or a pommel next, whichever you choose. If you don't have a pommel being provided by your base part, that won't even show up. But you can add your pommel before you add your head part. You don't have to worry about that. Now, in this case, order does matter in terms of adding your clink scythe, then your remover wing, because whatever part is down here will always be the leading edge of the weapon. So that means if you want one to be very specifically on that side, you have to put it in second, because whenever you add parts in this, there's a specific way that it works. It will always attempt to add it up here. So if you put it in here, it'll automatically relocate. So that's why the order matters, is that the first one you actually place in will go up here. But you can always just swap them around before you fully assemble your weapon, and you can always disassemble it and reassemble it if you need to, because you can kind of just reverse it by putting it back in and taking stuff out. So if you feel you want something the other way around, you can always do it that way. Now for the usual renaming of it that matches the previously assembled model. So here we have the Life Reaper. And as I was saying, I'm having some issues with certain parts of my sounds. Like, I did not hear that sound, but it will probably be perfectly fine after I actually process the video. So it's just weird that way. Now, I have that ready. So, where did I put the cake? So I went to fight near the cake. And remember, this thing will act as a big multi-tool. Whether or not I get to show that off is a whole other matter this time. But humongous multi-tool powers. Like, you could easily rearrange this forest real fast with this thing. And is that... That is a legit wolf. Okay. Was not so sure that would happen. Okay, looking around, there are plenty of wolves right now. It's nice. It's nice. Sometimes their spawns are a little out of... there's my cakes. Thank you. Sometimes their spawns are a little out of whack because of things happening, and... Okay, I need to whack Crake. Wow, the damage this thing deals, that was instant defeat. I mean, it deals 13 damage at base and has 3 attack speed. So, it's gonna do a lot of damage even if you're not factoring in all the other stuff. Because, gosh, look at all these things. That is quite a list. And on top of that, it's gonna have a 360 sweep. So, it is going to be positively ballistic. Now, as for my target, I chose something kind of a little elite, but not really bossy this time. I'm going with a Vampire Baron. I have no idea why. I just have this serious urge to fight a Vampire Baron. So, yeah. I don't know why I chose a Vampire Baron. Seriously, no idea. It's just, like, suddenly I'm going, yeah, I want to do that. Let me just munch a piece of cake there to start myself ready and do this thing. Because I got a demo with a mob. It's like the combat test must... Wait a moment. Did I have it on... No? I guess you can't spawn him at daytime? Okay. Oops. Did not realize that was going to happen. I mean, it would be one thing if you just spontaneously burst into flames, but... Oh, no, not you. I just think search. Hit the... I just barely clipped it. Okay, so I have to time set tonight, obviously, to be able to fight this Baron. Well, that happened. Okay. So let's try this a second time, because that was just a little awkward. Okay, now Baron, appear. Why are you not appearing around here? Are you absolutely exclusive to... Are you absolutely exclusive, for some reason, to the vampire biome? Okay, something else then. That kind of blew me for a loop there. Okay, maybe I will actually go with my super challenge idea that I was pondering for a moment, and yeah, this might become a thing in a few seconds here. This might not go over very well, but I just wanted to fight something big, so. And this guy can usually be summoned anywhere, so. Okay, you're not taking much knockback now. Oh, suddenly you are. Why was I able to just trim you for a while? Yeah, it's gonna be dark, because Sackthoth is the harbinger. Less of doom and more of darkness. Can I just wave my thing around here and just smack you? Because this is a serious weapon. Yeah, I can life leech through this, and this is after it got nerfed. So that says how ridiculous this really is. Also, I may have got temporarily poisoned. Oh. Oh yeah, he's doing his thing. Oh, I finally used up that too. Okay, so I may have used an extra life. Aha, wow. And I got the scroll. Okay. Nice to know that feature is working in Abyssal Craft. And I can finally eat my cake. Okay, cake reward, please. Would be nice. Mmm, cake. Well, that was rewarding. As I was saying before, though, it can also be used as just an absolute awesome tool. Because this thing can do all sorts of stuff. Because it, again, it can harvest as... Let me just... okay, sorry. As an axe, a hoe, a shears, and a shovel. I can literally rip the landscape to pieces with this thing if I want to. So, it is just insane what all this thing can do. It is like the ultimate, one of the ultimate tools, which is kind of how a scythe should kind of act, is double is both a tool and a weapon. That's kind of what they're meant to do. So, yeah, I'd say I hit the nail on the head with that one. Not to mention I nailed Sackcloth. I only really burnt through like one life, so it's and I'd been holding on to that for like several episodes of this, so that finally went through. I finally used that extra life. Ooh, lots of... Oh yeah, that was one of the things, is I was trying to get various boss prizes, so there's his Soul Reaper blade. I'm gonna have to put that in my boss prize chest. So, cakes. Lots of cakes. Okay, where was my thing from here? Because I know it was close. Oh, poor sheep. I mean, it just didn't really... I'll dispose of the evidence. I'm sorry. Are you still the animals? No, they know. So I'll have to dispose of the evidence. I'm sorry. No witnesses. This also is great for butchering. Because apparently they just... You can one-shot most of the animals in the game with this. It's kind of a bit easy that way, so... Yeah, I'm sorry it had to go down that way, but you were just overcrowding me, and you looked so investigatory. So you know, I I can't really have detectives going around after my legitimate. Well, I couldn't quite do that. Legitimate business, yeah. So I may have had to let's just say I may have caponed that a little. So yeah, things happened, and sheep did not survive. But that's just a way of things. So there goes Sackcloth. So I'm putting that in here along with my other great prizes. So that happened. Well, in that case, for now, I'll be logging off. Hope to hear from y'all later, and bye for now, everybody.